Coming up to a year ago now that I first borrowed this off Tony from up the road. Now, Tony just brought this along. We kind of meet up for coffee and we let each other borrow each other's gear for a bit. Yeah, one of the founding members of Gear Cucks. And the idea really, sometimes Tony will just bring along a thing and say, do you want to try that? And I'll say, no. And this kind of would have been my reaction if I'd known that he was going to bring the JS1200. I grew up listening to Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, guys like that. Also, you know, looking at Ibanez guitars and fawning over them, looking at them in the IT room when I should have been doing some sort of spreadsheet or something. And there's two things in particular about this guitar that I think make it quite interesting and a little bit different to a lot of other Ibanez guitars. It's a great guitar. Anyway, it's got PAF pickups and a Fred pickup, DiMarzio's, you know, some sort of Floyd Rose situation, double locking. Don't hold that against it though, you know. Goto tuners, your normal sort of Ibanez specs, so it would be a basswood body, right, and maple sort of 5-piece type neck, or several pieces at least, with the skunk and rosewood, you know, all of the stuff that you're used to with an Ibanez, but a few things that you're not.
This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. What I like so much about this guitar that I've really never experienced on any other guitar is that on this volume knob here, so I believe this is a coil split, so let's just listen with everything. So I've got things coil split, and then what you traditionally get when you roll off a volume knob first thing that kind of goes alongside like the actual gain is that there's a noticeable treble roll off, and this for me has prevented me from really wanting to do this a lot because my tones are already kind of dark. However, on here, what you get on this volume knob is essentially like a treble bleed, which you can switch in or out. I've never experienced this on any other guitar. I've got other guitars that just have treble bleeds, but this is so cool because it basically means that I get way more clarity. So if I just switch it back, so again without it. Without. So there's kind of two aspects of what happens. The treble rolls off, it kind of gets a little bit quacky, and it kind of gets a little bit like the feel starts to go away because that kind of top end snap isn't there. This kind of solves all that, and it just makes it fun to roll off the volume knob again. And also, I kind of miss having, like, I grew up playing Floyd Roses. I got a love-hate with them. On the one hand, you know, keeping them in tune and getting them back into tune. Is not fun. But there's such a kind of, particularly I love the flutter. If you've ever wondered how to do the flutter thing, it's like a friction thing where you kind of depress and then flick off the end. I might try and get you a close-up, but you get like a wobbling of the thing. One of my favourite things to do with a Floyd Rose, to be honest. also doesn't have the massive frets as some of the Ibanez's that I used to own in the past. It's kind of just a very kind of conservative guitar when you really get down to it. I love that treble bleed. The trem on it works beautifully for what a Floyd Rose actually is. You know, you've got that sensible, kind of smart, ahead of its time jack input. I just think it's just such a beautiful guitar. The neck shape is kind of like a Slim C, something like, yeah, like a Fender modern type. But it feels great under the hand. Feels like, yeah, like an Ultra type Strat vibe, really. But I think it's a beautiful guitar. Plays really nicely. Can kind of do a lot of things really well, as you'd expect from, I think, an instrument that Satriani chose. So I think it's great. I think more modern versions of it are slightly different in some interesting ways. I'd like to know if they maintain this kind of setup. I think that's pretty unique to this guitar, but actually really useful. Although maybe you just, once you find out what that treble bleed does and whether you like it or not, you probably go either one way or the other with it, right? Unless you've got something like a fuzz where you're wanting to roll that treble off with it or something like that. I don't know exactly why you'd want to get rid of it, but for certain rigs and certain setups, maybe that treble bleed you wouldn't want in at all. I don't know. It's just a beautiful guitar. Anyone out there a fan of these? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Cheers.